Hello and welcome to A Conversation with Bobbie Cavnar, a special program here on Channel 21 that highlights Bobbie Cavnar's time as the North Carolina Teacher of the Year. I'm Todd Hagans, and joining me is Bobbie Cavnar. Bobbie, thanks so much for being with us.
Well, thank you for having me back on, Todd. It's great to be here and to talk about my year.
Okay, the North Carolina Teacher of the Year. Can you summarize that in 30 seconds?
I'll try. Each school in North Carolina, all 2,595 schools, selects a Teacher of the Year every year to represent their school. That Teacher of the Year then goes on to compete at the district level to become the District Teacher of the Year. And then again in the regional level, there are 9 regional candidates total. And then of those 9, they finally choose one North Carolina Teacher of the Year. And that Teacher of the Year will represent all North Carolina teachers at the state school board, the state legislators, and meetings with the state superintendent, the governor, and also be a voice for teachers across the state by traveling the state, listening to teachers, and bringing those messages back to Raleigh.
Now, you were named the State Teacher of the Year in the spring of 2016.
That's right.
You have served for an entire year, and a new Teacher of the Year has already been named, but you're not done just yet.
No, I have quite a few projects still going. As Teacher of the Year, I was invited to participate in a lot of programs that we're moving forward right now, such as our ESSA plan and a teacher leadership plan that we're putting in place. And so I'll continue working on those even as I go back to the classroom at South Point. And also I'll sit on the state school board as a teacher advisor alongside Lisa Godwin, the new State Teacher of the Year, for the next year as a way to have 2 teacher voices on that board.
Now, when you became the State Teacher of the Year, what did you set out to do? What were your goals?
My main goal was to raise the teaching profession, to promote the teaching profession, and to let our leaders understand that the teaching profession in North Carolina is really suffering. We have teachers leaving in larger numbers than ever before, and the colleges of education enrollment is down nearly 30% across the state. And so we're looking at, in the future, a serious shortage of teachers. And I think part of that is due to the fact that there just isn't a lot of room for growth in the teaching profession as an individual. I can start a teacher in the classroom, and many people see that as sort of an entry-level position, and then move out to other things, administration or education or into other fields. And so they see teaching as a short-time career. And I think we need to promote it as a long-term career, something that you can be proud to do for 30, 35 years and grow within that and raise up to different levels. I also wanted to make sure that teachers had a voice in the ESSA legislation. The Every Student Succeeds Act gives the states much more say over how schools are run and how schools are measured. And I wanted to make sure that the teachers of North Carolina, the ones actually doing the teaching in the classrooms, had a voice in that. And so those are my main goals in setting out when I started.
Now, you traveled a lot, all across the state and even across the country. Tell us about your travels.
Well, I have been to over 70 different counties in the state of North Carolina. I've traveled all the way from Cherokee to Dare. I've been to Ocracoke. I've been to Ocracoke. I can never say that. I've been to nearly every district, but I've also been outside the state representing North Carolina. In Dallas, I met with the other State Teachers of the Year for a week-long conference. I also went to Las Vegas to represent North Carolina in a teacher leadership symposium there. I've been to Washington, D.C. a couple times now, including meeting the President of the United States and meeting with leaders there. And then on Friday, just 2 days from now, I'll be leaving for Germany, and I'll be representing North Carolina teachers in Germany to study the German education system.
Now, you had a lot of speaking engagements.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have one that is a favorite or one that really stands out?
My absolute favorite started to be anytime I got to talk to college students. It was just their energy and their excitement for the profession and their excitement to be teachers. And so I totally changed the way I talked when I started doing those events, because I have these grand speeches about education, and when I started talking to them, they want to know things like, what do I do if a kid acts out, or what color should my table be, and the nitty-gritty nitty-gritty of teaching that they're most excited about, or what do I wear, And so I started realizing that they're very, very excited to get in the classroom and start getting their hands dirty. And so that to me brought back a lot of that sort of joy and excitement about teaching that I felt 17 years ago when I started. And that was really fun to see young people excited to be teachers and ready to get out there.
And did you have a specific message for those soon-to-be teachers that are in college now?
One of the things I always started every speech with is I said, raise your hand if you were told not to do this. And every hand in the room went up in every college in North Carolina. These kids are told for years, don't be a teacher, that the profession is not a proud one anymore. It's not a good one anymore. You won't be treated well. You won't be paid well. And so part of my message was just to explain to them why I'm still teaching, why after 17 years I'm still here, and we'll be going back in the fall to teaching. And it's not that I haven't had opportunities or that I'm trapped in the classroom. It's that I genuinely love teaching. I love every day of it. And so talking to kids, the young people who want to be teachers, about why I love teaching and why I'm still a teacher, I think is often something they tell me that they've never heard anyone say. That they're excited to be teachers, they believe in it, but it seems everyone around them doesn't. And so for them, I found that was most meaningful to them, is just to explain what I love about it and why I'm still doing it.
Coming up, we hear about the National Teacher of the Year competition, Bobbie's visit to the White House, and much more as our conversation with Bobbie Cavnar continues here on Channel 21.
And then from this angle, it all makes a star.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore.
Show up
And frustration, a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible.
And then we're going to turn the lights and everybody look up.
I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought.
Finally won.
What's your reaction?
Yeah!
Yeah, exactly.
And unconventional methods
Okay, what else?
common.
Little tadpoles, the frogs. Everybody said, this is their world.
There's nothing.
And then they die. Go ahead, go, go, go.
I'm a teacher. I make more.
We are talking with Bobbie Cavnar, the North Carolina Teacher of the Year for 2016-2017. Bobbie, let's talk about the National Teacher of the Year competition. What was that like?
It was very similar to the state competition. It involved mostly a portfolio. It was a series of essays that we wrote, and it was ranging in topics from things like why we love teaching, our personal biography, as well as asking hard-hitting questions about politics and policy. And so it was very similar to the state process in that way.
And you met Teachers of the Year from all across the country.
That's right.
What was that
Yeah.
like? And did you find some similarities with those
yes.
teachers?
From the moment we met, we were best friends. I still have Facebook Messenger on my phone, constantly talking to the other state teachers of the year. There's something about the state teachers of the year where we just connected immediately. And it was actually 56 teachers, because it was all 50 states, and teachers from Guam, teachers from Puerto Rico, teachers from the Northern Mariana Islands. And so it was teachers from all over the world, and that was really exciting. And just, it brought back that passion, that excitement to have people who really love teaching and are really just excited about it together. And we stayed an entire week in Dallas at that conference, getting to know each other and working on our own platforms.
And it's interesting, I guess, to say that what you experience here in North Carolina, the Teacher of the Year from Arizona experiences the same thing, or from Washington State, or from Wisconsin. There are so many similarities. What are a few of those things that you all talked about?
Travel. we talked about travel a lot. I also was surprised by how different each state program is. North Carolina's program is actually the envy of many, many states. Our program, for example, offers a full year of sabbatical where I travel and speak and do public engagements, but not every state offers that, and not every state has those same supports in place. And so it was really interesting to learn about what different states do and how different states work. But the time away from our families, the time away from our classrooms, the travel is what we all could commiserate about. It's nothing like, though, a man named G who teaches in the Northern Mariana Islands who has to travel 48 hours on plane. He has to first go to Tokyo and then on to LA and then finally to Dallas, where we were, just to be where we were.
Now, a part of that process includes a visit to the White House.
Yes.
What was that like?
That was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. That is something that I don't think I'll ever have the chance to be invited to the White House again. And it was really amazing just to be in that house. One of the things that our guide told us the moment we walked in, they said, remember what it smells like, because you'll never have this chance again. And so that was not something I ever would have thought of, but it smells like an old house is what it smells like. It smells like every old house I've ever been in, and it was just fascinating. And so I started really paying attention to things like the art on the walls and the carpets, and think about the people who have walked these halls. It was just absolutely thrilling to be a part of that.
We continue our conversation with Bobbie Cavnar in just a moment. Stay with us.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education.
What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job?
Be like everybody else.
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher.
You got the skills, the smarts.
Yes, you.
You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess?
What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Welcome back to a conversation with Bobbie Cavnar. Bobbie, the question that we have, what is next for Bobbie Cavnar?
Well, that's always been the question of the year. Very few of the state teachers of the year actually return to teaching. It's kind of the irony is that you get so many opportunities through this platform that you get pulled in so many directions. But I am proud and happy to say and excited to go back to South Point High School in the fall and go right back into teaching seniors and British literature. I'm thrilled to go back, but that certainly doesn't mean my work is finished. As I said earlier, I am on many different committees. The Every Student Succeeds Act is one of my personal interests, and that won't be submitted until September, and so I'll be very involved in the formation of that. And also with teacher leadership and teacher leadership pipeline, I'm actually on a committee now that is developing a 3-year plan to promote teacher leadership in North Carolina and create ways for teachers to grow while still being teachers, ways to move up in your profession, to advance your career, to take on larger responsibilities, and to be a leader in your profession, which is what I hope to be as I go back to the classroom.
With all of the opportunities presented to you, why go back to the classroom?
It was very, very hard. I spent a lot of time thinking about it and talking to my wife about it and talking to my family about it and talking to other teachers about it. But ultimately, I am just incredibly lucky to love what I do. I love it. I love teaching. And I didn't think this would be the case, but the truth is I missed it almost immediately, and I've missed it all year. As much as this has been an exciting opportunity, and it's been thrilling to walk the halls of the legislature and sit on the state school board, the entire time I just missed being able to talk to kids every day and be able to work with young people who are excited about life, and also to be able to go back to my passion, which has always been literature and Shakespeare, and I miss that, and that surprised me. It surprised me how much I miss teaching, but I think I'm a very lucky person to love my job this much.
And I know that South Point, they are glad to have you back, coming
I'm
back
glad
over
to hear
there.
that. I'm excited to go back.
Have any of your colleagues or any of the students said anything to you
Oh
about?
yeah, all year long it's been a constant reminder from my colleagues and my future students saying, you better come back because I've been waiting 4 years to have you as my teacher. And so that was really nice to have the support of my colleagues and the support of the students saying that they want me back and they're excited to have me back.
But also, going back to the classroom, you'll still be an advocate for teachers.
Oh yeah, that will never end. I was an advocate long before I ever became State Teacher of the Year. The only thing that's changed is that I have a much bigger megaphone now, and so I will never stop speaking up for the teaching profession. And I'm lucky that this platform really does open all sorts of doors for me. I've built relationships. I've built relationships at the Department of Public Instruction, at the state legislature, and the governor's office. And those relationships are strong ones that I feel I can continue to have as I go forward and advocate for the teaching profession.
Coming up, we hear some final thoughts from Bobbie Cavnar about his time as the North Carolina Teacher of the Year. Stay with us.
I started mentoring my mentee, Dontre, 4 years ago. I always thought about doing it. It always seemed like a good idea.
We were both nervous when we first met, but everything kind of fell into place.
Mentoring is important to anyone that's pretty fortunate in life to have a little bit of time to pass on that knowledge.
Etienne's a very close friend. I look at him as a brother and a father figure. He taught me just focus on the big picture because I would like to give back just like Etienne gave back to me. Be someone who matters to someone who matters.
We are talking to Bobbie Cavnar, who is concluding his year as the North Carolina Teacher of the Year for 2016-2017. Bobbie, as you look back on your year, did you accomplish everything that you wanted to accomplish?
I wish I could say yes, that the whole thing is fixed, all of teaching in North Carolina, but truthfully, no. I have big goals for teachers in North Carolina, and I will not stop working on those as I head back to the classroom. But I've certainly gone a long way towards what I'd hoped to accomplish.
Do you feel like you made a difference?
I certainly hope so. The things I really wanted to accomplish, for example, promoting the profession of teaching, I think I really have. The plan, we're adopting a 3-year plan of the department towards teacher leadership to allow teachers to grow within the profession and within the classroom. And I certainly allowed teachers to have a voice in our ESSA implementation that's coming in September. So there are things that I am absolutely thrilled that I was able to be a part of and that I feel like I really made a difference there. But in the larger sense, perhaps the biggest difference I made was just in talking to college students who want to be teachers and telling them that message that I told them, that I love this world and love this job and love teaching. I have had many students write to me over the years saying, thank you so much for telling us what you love about teaching, because they often just hear the bad things.
Now, you are the third Gaston County teacher to win the state honor. And we often hear people say, I remember when Scott Griffin was the state teacher of the year. I remember when Dixie Abernathy was the state teacher of the year. When people say, I remember when Bobbie Cavnar was the state teacher of the year, what do you want them to remember about Bobbie Cavnar?
I hope really two things. The first is that this year turned out to be far more contentious and tumultuous than I ever imagined. And a lot of that was the changes in administration at the presidency and also at the Department of Public Instruction, as well as a change in governor. This year was a year of change across North Carolina in all levels of our leadership. And I hope that what they remember is that through all of that, I was steadfast and calm and a voice of reason and compassion, and that I stayed true to who I was and my message and stayed true to promoting teachers in North Carolina. I hope that even though there was chaos around me, that there was a storm around me, that I was a person who was rational and calm and accepting and understanding of other people's points of view.
You also have a message about kindness.
That's right. That was that was the message I brought across North Carolina, that when I gave speeches to young teachers, to teachers across the state, as well as to our teacher leaders and our administration, the message I sent over and over again was that we have to remember to be kind. I think too often now kindness is confused with weakness, that forgiveness is seen as giving in or being taken advantage of. And I don't think that's true, and especially for teachers, because we have to remember we're teaching children. They're children. They need kindness in their life. They have enough chaos in their life that oftentimes that school is the one place that is very stable for them. And so the message I sent was to be good for children and to be good to children, and to remember that kindness as you progress in your field.
Bobbie, we are so proud of you in Gaston County. We appreciate everything that you've done, not only to represent Gaston County Schools, but to represent our state. And we know that there'll be many more great things to come from Bobbie Cavnar.
Well, thank you, and thank you for having me on.
We appreciate you being here on this program, and we hope to talk to you again very soon. We have enjoyed our conversation with Bobbie Cavnar, and we hope you have too. For Channel 21, I'm Todd Hagans. Thank you for watching.